Why being not perfect makes people like you more. We live in a world that constantly tells us to improve, optimize, and perfect ourselves. Social media feeds are filled with curated images of flawless lives, smooth careers, perfect bodies, and seemingly effortless success. From a distance, it looks like perfection is the ultimate goal, the thing that guarantees admiration, respect, and even love. But in reality, something very different happens in human psychology. People don't actually connect deeply with perfection. In fact, too much perfection can create distance, suspicion, and even discomfort. What truly draws people in is not flawlessness, but authenticity. And authenticity almost always includes imperfection. This is why being not perfect often makes people like you more. To understand this, we need to look at how human beings are wired, how trust is formed, and why flaws, far from being weaknesses, are often the bridge that connects one person to another. The psychology of relatability. One of the strongest forces in human relationships is relatability. People naturally gravitate toward those who feel similar to themselves. When someone appears too perfect, they stop feeling like one of us and start feeling like someone above us. Psychologists often refer to this as the similarity attraction effect. We like people who remind us of ourselves because they feel safe, familiar, and understandable. Imperfections play a crucial role here. They signal that a person has struggles, doubts, mistakes, and limitations, just like everyone else. When someone openly admits, "I messed that up," or "I'm not great at this," it creates an immediate subconscious reaction. This person is real. And realness is comforting. Perfection, on the other hand, can feel alien. If someone never makes mistakes, never shows weakness, and always seems to have everything under control, it becomes harder to emotionally connect with them. Instead of closeness, we feel distance. The problem with perfect people. At first glance, perfection seems attractive. After all, who wouldn't want to admire someone who has it all together? But admiration is not the same as connection. Perfect people are often placed on pedestals. And pedestals are isolating. You can look up to someone on a pedestal, but you can't easily stand next to them. This is why highly curated online personas often struggle to build deep loyalty. People may follow them, watch them, or even envy them, but they don't always feel emotionally close to them. There is also a subtle psychological barrier: suspicion. When someone appears too perfect, the brain starts asking questions like, what are they hiding? Is this even real? Are they trying too hard? This skepticism reduces trust. And without trust, likability suffers. Imperfection, by contrast, lowers that barrier. It signals honesty. It says, "I'm human, just like you." Vulnerability creates connection. One of the most powerful forces in human relationships is vulnerability. When someone shows vulnerability, they are taking a small emotional risk. They are revealing something that could be judged, rejected, or misunderstood. And yet, this is exactly what builds connection. When a person admits they failed at something, or shares an insecurity, or talks about a difficult moment in their life, something interesting happens. The listener feels closer to them, not further away. This is because vulnerability triggers empathy. We don't just observe the person, we feel with them. And empathy is one of the strongest foundations of liking someone. Psychologist Brené Brown, who has studied vulnerability extensively, describes it as the birthplace of connection. Without vulnerability, relationships remain shallow. With it, they deepen quickly. Perfection removes vulnerability. Imperfection restores it. The human signal effect. There is another important concept at play: signaling. Every behavior we show sends signals to others about who we are. Perfection signals control, distance, and sometimes even superiority. Imperfection signals humanity, approachability, and emotional openness. Think about two people in a conversation. Person A speaks flawlessly, never hesitates, never admits uncertainty. Person B occasionally laughs at themselves, admits when they don't know something, and shares small mistakes. Most people will feel more comfortable with person B. Why? Because person B is signaling, "You don't have to be intimidated by me." This lowers social tension and makes interaction feel more natural. Why perfect can feel unsafe? It may sound strange, but perfection can sometimes feel unsafe on a psychological level. Not physically unsafe, but socially unsafe. When someone seems perfect, we become hyper-aware of our own imperfections. This can create subtle insecurity. Instead of feeling relaxed, we feel evaluated. For example, imagine meeting someone who is extremely attractive, highly successful, well-spoken, and always composed. Even if they are kind, you might still feel a slight pressure, as if you need to perform to match them. This pressure reduces comfort. And comfort is a key ingredient in liking someone. Now imagine the same person laughs at themselves when they mess up a sentence or openly talks about a failure they experienced. Suddenly, the pressure drops. You relax. You feel like you can be yourself. That relaxation is what creates liking. The role of effortless imperfection. It's important to clarify something. People don't like chaos or constant negativity. There is a difference between healthy imperfection and self-sabotage. What people respond to is authentic imperfection, not exaggerated flaws, but natural human ones. Examples include admitting small mistakes without shame, laughing at awkward moments, being honest about not knowing something, sharing past failures without over-dramatizing them, showing emotions instead of suppressing them. These behaviors don't reduce respect, they increase trust. On the other hand, constant complaining, lack of responsibility, or self-destructive behavior can push people away. The key is balance. Imperfection is attractive when it feels real and self-aware. The effort paradox. There is also a psychological paradox at play. The more someone tries to appear perfect, the less likable they often become. This is known in social psychology as the effort paradox. When effort is too visible, it can feel forced. People tend to like what feels natural and effortless. For example, someone trying very hard to appear cool may come across as less cool than someone who is simply relaxed and authentic. The same applies to perfection. When someone clearly tries to eliminate every flaw, every mistake, every awkward moment, it can feel unnatural. And unnatural behavior is harder to trust. Ironically, not trying to be perfect often makes people appear more confident and more likable. Social media and the illusion of perfection. Modern social media has amplified the pressure to appear perfect. Filters, edits, and highlight reels create an illusion that everyone else is living a smoother, more successful life. But this illusion is exactly why imperfection now stands out more than ever. When someone posts something real, a failure, a struggle, a messy moment, it cuts through the noise. It feels refreshing. People don't respond with rejection. They respond with engagement, empathy, and often admiration. Why? Because it breaks the illusion. It reminds us that behind every curated image is a human being. And humans connect with humans, not with perfect avatars. Imperfection and confidence. There is a common misunderstanding that showing flaws is a sign of weakness. In reality, it often signals confidence. It takes confidence to admit mistakes. It takes confidence to not hide every imperfection. And it takes confidence to be seen as you are, rather than as a carefully constructed image. People subconsciously pick up on this. Someone who can say, "Yeah, I messed that up," without defensiveness appears more grounded than someone who always needs to appear flawless. Confidence is not about eliminating flaws. It's about not being controlled by them. Why imperfect people feel more real. At the core of all of this is one simple idea: people prefer what feels real. We are constantly surrounded by artificiality, edited images, scripted conversations, curated identities. In such an environment, realness becomes rare and valuable. Imperfection is one of the clearest signals of realness. A person who shows no flaws feels like a character. A person who shows some flaws feels like a human. And humans connect with humans far more deeply than they connect with characters. The balance, not trying to be perfect versus not caring. It's important to draw a distinction here. Being, not perfect, does not mean not caring about improvement. Growth is still important. Discipline still matters. Self-respect still matters. The key difference is attachment. Healthy individuals improve themselves without obsessing over appearing flawless. They aim for growth, not image perfection. When someone stops trying to look perfect and instead focuses on being genuine, something interesting happens. They often become more likable, more respected, and more trusted. Because now their actions are no longer about impressing others, they are about being themselves. Conclusion: imperfection is the bridge. At first glance, perfection seems like the ideal path to admiration. But human psychology works differently. People don't bond with perfection, they bond with authenticity. Imperfection creates relatability. Relatability creates trust. Trust creates connection. And connection is the foundation of likability. Being not perfect is not a flaw in social interaction, it is often an advantage. It signals humanity, reduces psychological distance, and invites others to feel safe being themselves. In a world increasingly shaped by filters, highlights, and performance, imperfection is not a weakness. It is the bridge that brings people closer together.